Story of the Great Orangutan Lady. In the mountains and forests of Tuyanhung, there is a breed of monkey called wild girl. Sometimes people catch a few animals and bring them home to practice speaking a few human languages. They raise them as pets, and are commonly called. At that time, in the capital city of Thang Long, shopping streets had sprung up closely. Many large shops store all kinds of goods such as brocade, silk, crystal, porcelain, etc. The shopkeepers only rely on the purchases of mandarins. At that time, military officials were highly respected, and military officials were mostly people from inside God's homeland. Their wives and children also follow the style of the mandarins. They also wear earrings, stretchers, servants gathered in groups, etc. The shopkeepers only like them for one thing. When buying goods, they declare no matter how many fake people they have, there is rarely a chance of adding one or two like the officials of the north. That's why they consider them to be good customers and greet them very politely, sometimes just delivering the goods to their house and then taking the money later. Suddenly one day, on the street there was a stretcher covered with cassava leaves, carried over. The splendor of the servants, red sweatshirts, brocade collars, made people's eyes dizzy. The stretcher stopped before a block. A servant approached and bowed next to the stretcher. A moment later, he entered a shop where the owner had already welcomed him, offering words as sweet as honey. He whispered to the saleswoman, "My old lady is having a hard time staying. It's not convenient for her to get down on the stretcher to see the goods. My grandmother wants to buy a lot of brocade, fabric, thread, and some porcelain and crystal items as listed in this paper. So if this brand has any good products, please give them to my grandmother to buy." Smelling a bargain, the shop owner was so happy that he quickly opened his cupboard and brought out the most expensive things. If the goods were not enough, he would send people to familiar stores to pick them up. The servant took turns bringing the goods to the stretcher for the old lady to see and told the price for the old lady to know. Whatever goods are brought in, the old lady praises them. Good, 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 good. The shop owner had never seen such an easygoing luxury customer. He was filled with joy and thought that the total amount of goods was several hundred taels of silver. Once finished, the servant said, "This old lady is the wife of a mandarin who just came to the capital to take charge. My Grand Mandarin's palace is 13 blocks south of the governor's mandarin's palace. The restaurant wants money or silver, so be patient and go there to receive it." The shop owner was confused. Then, just a moment later, the servants, some carrying heavy clothes, some carrying brocades, some carrying trinkets, ran loudly behind the mandarin's stretcher. Arriving there, the stretchers stopped and tried to open the curtain to invite the old lady down. The servant shouted, "The old lady is sleeping. You guys should be surprised, and put the stretcher on it and stand here waiting for her to grow up. Shop owner, please go sit in that stall, wait for us to bring the goods in so the officials can see, and then call in to receive the money." After that, a group brought goods into the palace. After waiting for a while, the stretchers also went their separate ways. In the end, only the stretcher and the shop owner remained. Suspicious, the shop owner went closer to see what was happening but could still hear the old lady's regular snoring. However, he boldly lifted the cassava leaves and saw that in the stretcher there was only an orangutan dressed in women's clothes tied tightly to a hammock. there was no older woman at all. When an orangutan caught a glimpse of a human, he said the words, "Okay, okay, good, good." Knowing that he had been tricked, he panicked and rushed into the palace, only to find out that it was a few houses, formerly also the place where the guards were stationed, now deserted, behind an open gate connecting to other paths. After a while of hiring people to search but seeing no sign of the thugs anywhere, he had to return with his old stretcher and the orangutan. 1. Advertising Phan Dinh Ho in Vu Trung essay also told a trick of the thugs of the late Le dynasty in Thang Long capital city similar to the above story, except that the person lying in the hammock was not an orangutan but an orangutan. A blind old beggar woman. These stories partly reflect the people's attitude towards the merchant class, in the context of an undeveloped commercial society like ours. 1. According to Dai Nam Dong Van Daily Newspaper. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.